way I'm looking at Nexus is to build India's largest integrated retail advertising network. Look at this. This is the largest atrium without any pillars. So how do you fit a signage in the air without having a single pillar? We always say that Nexus, the number of footfalls that come in is double the number of people in the UK. That's over 10 crore. From eye-catchy digital installations to bold brand activations, Nexus Mall is clearly reshaping not just the brand experience, but how brands connect with people in real-world spaces. Across the countries, their malls are turning into vibrant media platforms. And if you have seen any of those standout formats lately, there's a good chance that today's guest had a hand in it. Joining us today is none other than the Chief Marketing Officer at Nexus Mall, Mr. Nishank Joshi. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for inviting us here. Yeah. I have to tell you, Nexus Mall has been doing some really exciting things. So let's dive right in. Sure. We have Curve in Chennai. We have Prismox in Hyderabad. Yes. We have I Am at Seawoods. Yes. So, I mean, with all this digital screens out here, tell me what sparked the idea of launching such digital formats here at each mall?
Tell me one thing, would you see an art house film in a theatre or would you see an Avengers film in a theatre?
Avengers always. Anna. So that's the whole thing, right? Advertising today is a spectacle, right? And if you need people, if consumers need to look at ads, if advertisers need consumers to look at ads, they now need a platform which is as large a spectacle as it can be. It has to be an immersive experience. Right. It needs to be an experience which is multi-sensory. And it's been on for a while, maybe not in India, but you've seen these formats in Times Square, right? You've seen these internationally in Japan. I think it was about time that advertising in malls, which had become staid and too common, it was just too static in malls, we needed an upgrade in India. Right. And I think Nexus has just taken the step, or the first step, in championing the cause of immersive advertising in India. That's what we've done. You make it like so simple actually. You know what they say, whatever looks effortless on screen takes a lot of effort behind this. So when you say you've just taken the first step, I think you've hit the ball out of the park. Because when I look at these digital formats, I think each one belongs where it is. I mean, tell me, how did you go about deciding, okay, I'm going to take this kind of digital format and I'm going to place it in this mall? Nothing is retrofitted. I know the tech is retrofitted, which means that we built the malls 10 years ago, and I know Nexus doesn't have malls on their own. It's malls that someone else had built, and then we come and acquire them. So in a way, everything that Nexus does is retrofitting, but it is not retrofitting. We have the consumer at the center point of all of this. When we go and design these experiential signages, when we go and design any kind of advertising material, we look at sightlines. Is it going to be visible to the consumer that we want? Is it going to be unobtrusive? You can't have advertising at the cost of the shops and the stores not getting their visibility, right? They are the ones who are prominent, but you need this advertising to stand out. So there is sightlines to pay. And there's this whole thing which you customize it to your spatial dynamism, which means that here, look at this. This is the largest atrium without any pillars. So how do you fit a signage in the air without without having a single pillar? So then you had these big cables coming in. Right. So you fit it to the mall. The great thing is this kind of opens up a new, playground for all the brands. A lot of opportunities. Tell me what kind of, ideas or creative storytellings these screens can bring to life that probably traditional media just can't. Great question. So the first is that it allows you to have layered storytelling. And when I say layered storytelling, like I mentioned in the previous one, Hyderabad has two screens. You could have an offer running on top, you could have something else happening, or you could have dynamism, which means that someone pours coffee from the top and it is received on the screen below, right? So two screens talking to each other. You can do that. The second thing you can do, of course, is you can have contextual advertising, which means that people can change their advertising by afternoon, by morning, by evening. So for instance, take Starbucks or a coffee brand, pick any coffee brand. We could sell you morning coffee because you need a sharp coffee in the morning. Right. It could have your beverages in the afternoon and the evening, and it can sell you sandwiches in the day. All of it is contextual. You can change it. And we always say that Nexus, the number of footfalls that come in is double the number of people in the UK. That's over 10 crore. I think 13 crore for the start. Thank you for the 13 crore people. Imagine you've got a captive audience, people who are going to spend a lot of time over there. You envelope the mall with 2 or 3 spaces. There is no way a person who shops. And why do you advertise? You advertise so that people can shop for your brand. So you're in a shopping space, which was air conditioned. People are going to spend time over there. And you are hitting them with contextual multi-sensory ads. Wow. What better? There is no better space for advertising than Marks.
Nishank, in this entire thing, I think you've already answered my next question because I was going to ask you about these installations. Are they flexible? Are they like, can advertisers adapt their content depending on the location, the real time of the day, or the audience walking?
Correct. So not only that, you could have you could play with QR codes. So for instance, now if the store has an app or if the advertiser has an app, you could have the QR code being displayed over there. Right? You have an ad and then the QR code comes over there. There is something that we did with innovation, and it's not only about DOH, right? So there's a brand called Continental Coffee, which actually has done some fantastic work in Hyderabad. We gave them an opportunity to rebrand our food court. So the food court for those 2-3 months was called Continental Coffee 2 Food Court. They had installation of coffee beans with a huge size coffee mug and a sampling of the coffee within the food court. We are
Interactive.
It is super interactive, and it is in a space that you would never expect it to have.
Exactly.
You have Mia Jewels, which basically they took ayam. They had sensory flowers outside, which means as you come in, you had these interactive flowers that used to bloom as customers used to walk through. And then they had taken a pink parking for women. That was a space that they took up, and they branded Mia over there. Now imagine by footfall, the footfall walks in, they get to see the flowers, to come in by car, and they get to see that. When they come in, they get to see ayam. That is multisensory. It doesn't matter. And these are the people who are affluent, who are looking to shop, who are coming with the mindset to shop.
Right. What, Madhuri? We were discussing how many, screens and advertisers get benefit once they run their campaigns. But, if I talk about beyond the big signature screens that you have, what other opportunities do brands have, to market or to brand within the Nexus malls? What other gateways they have?
For the longest time, mall advertising, I think, or in mall advertising, you had become very staid and static. So you either had hoardings, static hoardings, or a pop-up, and that is it. And then people started having digital signages, and then came the anamorphic. But I believe that we need to go beyond this, right? Which basically means is that you have the hoardings, you have your static, you have your digital, you have, of course, have your anamorphic. But we started to rebrand or give people the opportunity to brand our food courts, the opportunity to brand our parking spaces, right? Do whatever you want because there's no rules that apply.
We were chatting about consumer behavior. So from consumer behavior, tell me, what is the role of tech that is playing in Nexus Malls? I mean, are you exploring new tech like programmatic DOH, AR, audience analytics across your properties?
Everything. We've got an app called Nexus One. Nexus One is India's #1 mall shopping app. Why do I say that? We have a 5.5 lakh user base, right? Not downloads. Downloads is around 8 lakhs or so. User base across the country. Now, these guys upload. Now, we are not connected to the mall. So, it's not a loyalty program where you go to a store and it automatically uploads the bills. So, these guys need to upload their bills because the brands don't give us access to their pop stores, right? But we upload yearly 1,300 crore worth of bills. So I have intelligence on how people are shopping. Now Nexus One is also a place where the brands get to advertise. So you are hitting my consumers, region-wise, mall-wise. You can choose, I want to only advertise in Seawoods, only on the app in Seawoods, only on the app interface in Seawoods, or only in a Koramangala. In addition to the ad over there.
No, that's very interesting you say this because with such an advanced infrastructure and tech in place, brands do expect, okay, give us that post-campaign results or performance analytics.
So important now because social media is doing that.
Correct.
Right? And print never did that. Right? But social media is doing that. And that has now become the norm. It's that, what traditional advertising like OH or DOH or mall SOH or whatever you call it, that doesn't give.
Yeah.
Print doesn't give. Only social media gives you. I'm here to tell you all that mall gives you feedback, mall gives you analysis. Remember that.
Nexus Mall does that. Underline that. So Nishank, like we were discussing how we came all the way from Mumbai and Andheri to Navi Mumbai for this. So you don't have just this one property.
Yes.
Nexus operates across major cities. Tell me the brand's point of view. How are advertisers viewing this? Do they consider this portfolio as a connected national media network or do they treat it as standalone properties?
So to be honest, that's a WIT. We are trying to build that. That's exactly what we're trying to build. We're trying and reaching out to brands individually as well as to agencies, because that's their pain point too. Even they need to reach out to 20, 30 people. Would it be better if they get access to all the grade A malls in the country through one window? We are that window. So it's happening.
Since you mentioned about the team, let's dive right in, because something that looks good on paper versus to execute it that effortlessly, it's a different journey altogether. How hands-on is your team when it comes to rolling out and planning and executing such in-mall campaigns?
When we were launching the three anamorphic signages, I always say that it takes two people to give birth to a baby, but it takes a village to raise it. And that's exactly what happened with the anamorphic signages. I mean, we had my engineering team, my operations team, my marketing team, which is actually the smallest, this 2 to 3 people or more, right? We had 3 vendor partners, because there's one for software, one for hardware. They worked tirelessly for over a month, month and a half per signage to get these things going. So really, Nexus is about connecting people, and I promise you, had it not been thousands of people working across departments, across verticals together to bring these to life, it wouldn't have been possible, right?
Before we let you go, the bigger question, what's the bigger vision for Nexus? How are you planning to ensure that malls are not just shopping destinations, but a big, powerful connected media ecosystems?
The way I'm looking at Nexus is to build India's largest integrated retail advertising network, where the consumer is touched at every sensory touch point, where brands can innovate the way they want. But more importantly, you only need to connect with one person in my company to get to all of it. We are tech ready. We are ready for the future. We're giving insights. We are enabled to help you build content, and we are giving you both online, offline, everything that you want at one place with one call. And that's why, and it's across 15 cities now, 20 malls, that will become 25 malls very soon. It is a network that is unparalleled in retail and shopping centers in India. And that's what I'm looking to build. It's a seamless integrated network of advertising, and it is unrivaled at this point.
Thank you for your time, your patience, introducing us to Nexus Mall here.
Thank you so much.
And giving us peek behind the curtains. Looking forward to meeting you again and diving into many, many more opportunities.
Been a
Thank you.
pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Lovely talking. Thank you.